See, it's veg tan, it squeaks. Can you hear the squeak? I made a bag. It was not the easiest thing I've ever done, but here it is. One of the other Instagrammers that I know has really gotten heavy into making bags, and she's making them and selling them, and I'll link her below. But she inspired me because I've made leather goods before, but never a full-on tote. So recently I had to go to Fort Worth, and I planned my trip so that I had a little time to stop at the Tandy flagship store. And while I was there, I looked at all the leather. Oh, when you walk in, the smell is just wonderful. But I looked at all this leather everywhere, and I got a bag of scraps of what is it called? I can't remember. I'll put it up here. It was a bag of scraps, thinking projects I can do with them. That's fine. And then I ran across this hide. The brand of hide is called Montana. And here's the hide. It is a beautiful leather. It may look orange in some lights, brown in others. The color goes all the way through. It just, to me, is the leather I always look for in a bag. It's got wrinkles and creases and lines, and it's even got a brand in one area. And I just thought, you know what? I can do something with that. I'm going to bite the bullet and buy this hide. And it wasn't a full hide. I believe it was a half a hide or a shoulder or something. I'll pop the little sign up here for you to read. So I brought it home, and it sat rolled up for at least a week. And I was thinking about little projects I might do with it, and then finally just decided to tackle a tote, because that's what I really wanted to do. And when I get something stuck in my head, if I don't just do it, it'll hem and haw around my head forever. I just had some friends from Scotland, and instead of saying hemming and hawing, they say humming and hitting. Hummed and hid. They say hummed and hid. They hummed and hid. So hemmed and hawed is what I say. What's the right way? I finally decided to make a pattern. And I wanted to, and I've done a video on the different ways totes are put together, but I really wanted one with this type of edge, which is a gusset. And this piece is out, and this piece is stitched inward, and so it has a really clean line to it. So that was the first thing I wanted to do. So I made my pattern out of craft paper. I laid it out on the hide. That first cut was very nerve-wracking, but I used the paper to position which area of the hide I wanted to cut. I wanted to be economical and not cut in the middle of the hide, and I wanted a section that had character. So did all that, made my cuts, and the first thing I needed to do was sew a pocket on the front. And I decided to hand stitch this. I have a machine, but my experience is with this machine, because it's not made for getting things around it very well, is that I would ruin my leather trying to get it through this machine. So I decided to hand stitch this, and I had picked up a new hole puncher when I was at Tandy and decided to use that one. I'm glad I did, but also there were so many holes. I think it's like 7 per inch. My hands were killing me when I was done. So first thing is, I decided to make this all one piece going all the way around, so there's no seam at the bottom. So I hand sewed my pocket on. Oh, I'm not finished. I need to put a rivet here and here. I forgot to do that. And then it was time to start with the sides. And things were getting more and more difficult as I was going. So the first thing I did was to stitch the sides on the bottom. Let me show you the good side. There's a good side and a bad side. So I stitched both sides on the bottom, and then I punched all the holes in the side of the bag and proceeded to sew up the sides. And that's a very few words for what took me most of a day, with breaks in between. The first side is not that hard, and the second side is just a little harder. But as you get to the last side, you can't see what you're doing. You're working inside the bag, half of them trying to push that needle through, and it's just, you're turning it. You've got a flashlight in there. It's really, really, it's really, really difficult. My hands were killing me. But I did it. I did this two sides, all 4 seams the same day. I don't think I would do this design again because the other designs you can turn the bag inside out, so from the inside you can see what you're doing. This one I did have trouble seeing what I was doing. Now I'm going to, full disclosure, show you the bad side, and you can see my bottom corners aren't great there. But I obviously figured out what I was doing and got these 2 corners looking better. So this will be the front of the bag. The last thing I did was to rivet the straps on. And one of the reasons I wanted to make my own tote is I wanted the things I wanted on it. And one of those things was strap drop. The second was, and I've talked about this before, when I carry the bag down here, I don't want it to drag the ground. So I lean to this side. So I tested once I found my strap drop, what I liked, which is longer than most people like, I also did my floor drop and made sure that it doesn't drag the ground when I'm carrying it. I have not yet put an interior pocket on this. I may not. I haven't decided. That can be done later, and I can rivet underneath into here to get the pocket in, and you will never see the rivets. If you don't know they're there, you won't see them. One of the other things I wanted was a single ply handle with the suede part on the underside, and that stops the strap from slipping off my shoulder. I didn't make it crossbody, but I could in the future if I want to. What I used as my sort of inspiration for how I wanted this bag to feel when carrying it is a reusable grocery bag. These are so handy, ugly, but handy. And one of the things that they all have is that gusset sewn on the side. And, I like to just grab them sometimes and carry them like this. So I really wanted some floppy handles. And so if I want to just grab the bag like that, I can grab the bag like that and carry it. So because these side gussets are wide, it has a lot of room. It's not a huge bag. It's 11 by 12 with a strap drop of 12.5 inches. The strap is 1 inch wide, and I used the saddleback leather simple tote strap as my template for the width. You can see how big that is inside. Very, very big, but it is not a large tote. One of the things I needed to make this tote was a frame, and I'll show you why in a second. So hubby made me this. Let's take everything out of it. One of the things you have to do when you're sewing on a gusset is you have to glue it down, and that keeps everything in place while you work. And finding a way to have this on a semi-solid surface was really hard. I was thinking stacking books. I was doing all kinds of stuff. And I said, can you make me a frame that will work with this? So what I would do is I'd put the bag into this frame and glue down the one side, let it sit. I put some weights on it, let it sit and get sturdy. And then I could remove the frame and sew that side, and everything would stay in place. That was really helpful. So shout out to the hubs. The other thing I wanted on here was I wanted rivets, not stitching, and I wanted a space between the rivets so that I could put one of these spring-loaded round O-ring carabiners in between those two, so I can hang some bag swag. And if you watch my channel, you know that I make these and some others, And you can find them on my Etsy shop here and here. It's Collie Wobbles Designs. This is by far the most popular one that I sell. A lot of these scraps are saddleback leather remnants, and then I have some other ones in there. But over the last 2 months that I've been making these, I have perfected the design a little bit. So I think that they're better now than they were when I started making them. So, I wanted the capability to have a place to hang bag swag. So I wanted a pocket in the front. I wanted riveted handles a certain length. I wanted the side gussets. I wanted one-piece construction. And I wanted it 12, roughly 12 by 12, 12 by 11. Not a huge, huge tote, but that is a good size. It stands up on its own, which I like. So, will I ever make one again? Not this design. This was just way too hard on my hands and fingertips. But I might try another design. I like the fact that I now have a tote that fits my criteria. You can't beat that. I mean, they're always either too big, too small, don't have the pockets where you want the pockets, don't have the strap drop you want, aren't quite the leather you're looking for. This one is all that and more. And so I'll put it on so you can see what it looks like. It's very comfortable to just plop your arm on right here. Passes the elbow test, which means my elbow doesn't drape across it when I put it on. So there you have it. That's my first and maybe my only tote ever. And the leather I used is the Montana. And you can order that leather from Tandy. I'll put the little sign up on the screen so you can see exactly what kind of leather, its weight, and all of that stuff on that little sign. And a half a hide was about $150. I only used maybe a third of it to make this bag. So there's a lot more left for a lot more projects. And I can't wait to see. I already have one idea. For another project. So don't forget to check out the leather tassels at Collie Wobbles Designs. Also, I have a Facebook page called Leather Bag Chat, and you can join on there. And we're getting new members every week, and we just love to talk about all things leather bags. So come join us over there, and you can find that in the link below. There's one question to answer. Just answer it. If it makes sense, I'll approve you. That is my first ever tote project, maybe my last. I need to let my hands recover. And I certainly have a lot of respect for what my friend Heidi is doing, because this was not easy. Not at all. So I hope y'all enjoyed that little tour of what I would consider my perfect leather bag, except for right around the bottom here. But I've learned from my husband, sometimes 85% is good enough. I got to go put rivets in here. See y'all later. Bye-bye.